The 1980s were a terrible time for, well, everyone. Hair was outrageous, and the bourbon industry was in decline. Brands were consolidating, and it would have been absolutely insane to make a new whiskey brand.
That's insane.
I'll tell you what's insane.
That's exactly what Elmer T. Lee did when he created Blanton's Single Barrel in 1984.
Welcome to 1984, the age of automation and unemployment.
Elmer T. Lee was the master distiller at Buffalo Trace Distillery, which at the time was known as the George T. Stagg's Distillery. He named his whiskey in honor of Colonel Albert B. Blanton. Apparently at the time, everyone was known by their middle initial. It was the 1980s. Things were crazy.
Are you done? Or do you have more references to 1980s fads?
Colonel Albert B. Blanton. I don't know if he was an actual colonel or if he was like...
Howdy folks, it's me, Colonel Sanders.
But Colonel Blanton was the previous master distiller at Buffalo Trace. And to make the whiskey in his honor, Elmer decided to make his whiskey, or this specific whiskey, in Warehouse H. Warehouse H is special because it is completely clad in metal. It's really different from your typical wood warehouses. While it's not normally something I care about or would even mention, Blanton's packaging is exceptional. The shape of the bottle is a Rubicon tetrahedron, or in layman's terms, a hand grenade.
Lord, bless this thy hand grenade!
The stopper for a Blanton's bottle is a die-cast horse and jockey. Each cork corresponds to a different stage in the race, and each one comes with a letter that spells out the word Blanton's. This means the horse wins, but the apostrophe gets shafted.
I have been thrice shafted.
First things first, let's take a look at it.
What do you see?
It's sort of a burnt amber, which you don't usually see in a lot of bourbons. It's really quite red.
Red one is traditional colour for streetwalkers, dear.
On the nose, it's an intense, dried citrus and orange peel.
This drink, I like it.
On the palate, it's definitely a dry whiskey, but it's perfectly integrated. The alcohol is really subtle. You could roll it around in your mouth and not feel anything. That said, it's also very full-bodied. So while you've got that dry, well-integrated, full-bodied whiskey, the flavors come through and are really intense. You get these strong notes of apple, just a smack of caramel, and those vanilla that you would expect to find in a good bourbon.
I believe that the bourbon in Branchwater is rather splendid.
The finish is fantastic. I'd say it's not a long finish. It's probably a bit more of a medium. But what really comes through is how well integrated the alcohol is. There is absolutely no burn. If you're someone who's looking for a whiskey that's safe and easy to drink, this is a good choice. It really feels nice in the mouth afterwards. And it's got a lot of sweetness that comes through. I'd say it's maybe a bit like honey. So it's sweet but not sharp. It is a fantastic finish.
Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Okay, so I know what I think of this whiskey, but tell us what you think. It's either here or here. Click on the I and vote and tell us if you like this whiskey, if you don't like this whiskey, or if you haven't had this whiskey. You done it?
Well done! Well done!
I think this is a very good whiskey. If you start out saying, okay, what is a good whiskey, and does this whiskey have something special? To me, the fact that this whiskey is so well integrated, and you've got some really nice, sweet notes coming through, it makes it a little bit nicer. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to our channel. It helps us to reach more people, and it helps you because you won't miss out on another whiskey review. We post a new video every week.
Your love life involves taking a stopper out and sniffing it.
My love life has nothing to do with this. This was a beautiful moment for me, and you've ruined it.